Want to welcome everybody to Iowa Postgame with Kachine and Alexander as we wrap up another Hawkeye women's basketball victory and another 100-point onslaught by your Lady Hawks. Oops, I should not say that. Lady Hawks not allowed here. Do not make that same mistake, folks. We'll correct it as the show goes on. Want to thank Brad Van Meter and his team down at State Farm, first of all. 515-256-6480 for a free quote on any type of insurance, folks, whether we're talking home, renters, auto, business, life insurance, whatever the case may be. Check it out. Check out the selection of different policies he can offer you and your family at bradvanmeter.com. That's www.bradvanmeter.com. Thanks to Brad for sponsoring our postgame coverage, plus Iowa Smokehouse down in Albia, Iowa, an Iowa-owned company, and they are selling awesome snacking products for any day of the week, but especially for game days. Use the code Hawkeyes for 15% off anything on their website, whether it be their jerky, their meat sticks. All of it's great. Their ketchups, their barbecue sauces. You'll never need to look anywhere else. Tasting is believing. Visit iowasmokehouse.com and use the code Hawkeyes for 15% off your total order. You see, Kachine, that sometimes that term Lady Hawks just slips out completely inadvertently. Okay, you know, come on, you don't got, listen, I know, you if you want to, you absolutely can. You can rip me if you want, Gene. You know, go ahead and rip me. I deserve it.
No. The point is that you recognize your slip up. There are some people who still don't think there's an issue with it. So I'm okay with that. So no, you don't get anything from me.
And I don't want to get into a big debate with people in the chat again, but here's, I think, what we need to realize as society is I know some people feel that other people are too sensitive with a lot of things, but I think one thing we can all do better is respect other people's feelings on things. And something simple like that that's correctable that potentially rubs somebody the wrong way is easy to correct. And I think that's called decent, just decent human nature and
There you go.
and kindness. So, anyways, we'll move on from that. But the Hawkeye women defeating Illinois today, 101-85, and you saw the numbers on the bottom of your screen to start this show. And how about this? Let's go right into our RTI Threads Player of the Game, and this was selected by the woman on your right, Kachine herself. She couldn't select one, and I don't blame her. I was supporting cast for the first time ever. This award goes down to multiple players. So, Kachine, what was it about today's performance by the Hawkeyes that made you select the whole supporting cast?
I mean, how can you honestly choose between Hannah Stokey's 20 points, Molly Davis's 17 points, Kylie coming off the bench, hitting clutch threes. You've got Sydney Falter doing Sydney Falter things. Like, it just was Kate Martin. Like, it just was a total team effort. So much so that Kaylin did not play well in the first half at all. She was like 2 for 10 at one point. And we scored 50 points. That was solely because of the supporting cast. They got us off to such a great start, and I honestly just feel like I couldn't give it to one person because they, as a whole, they all stepped up in multiple ways. So, hence, Iowa supporting cast.
Absolutely. RTI Threads Players of the Game, Iowa's entire supporting cast. I'll run through some of those numbers. Kachine alluded to a couple of them. First of all, Hannah Stolke, really efficient day from the field and only had to log 30 minutes to do so. 9 to 12 from the field, 9 boards, but her 20 points. And Molly Davis also in double figures with 17 on 3 of 6 shooting from 3. Kate Martin had 13 points to go along with 6 rebounds and 4 assists. She was 3 of 6 from 3. Caitlin Clark had 24 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists for a triple-double. And then you also had Sydney Falter come off the bench, give him 8. Kyler Feuerbach came in, gave him 9. Kachine, I want to put this disclaimer out before I make the following statement. I'm being snarky, I'm being facetious here when I say this, but in the past we've talked about, hey, maybe Lisa Bluter's watching the show, listening to the show. This last show, I was riding the whole, why isn't Kylie Feuerbach taking some of Gabby Marshall's minutes? Gabby played 23 and a half minutes today, and Kylie Feuerbach played 16. Now, I thought Kylie played pretty well. You mentioned her right off the top. I know you've struggled at times with some of the mistakes she makes, but what do you think about Kylie coming off the bench?
I thought she played well. I know I've said in the past that she's kind of been helter-skelter as far as offensively. But I think today she kind of just let the game come to her. She didn't do too much out of herself, as we like to call it. And that worked out well for her. She was confident from the beginning, and that's something that we're definitely going to need going forward. So I thought she played a great game from start to finish.
What did you think about because we've been critical of minute distribution in the past. What did you think of how the staff, specifically Lisa, managed that today?
Better. I think if it was a closer game, I might have been probably a little bit more critical, but it wasn't. So I'll take the 23 and 16, if that makes sense, discrepancy. But in a closer game, I probably would have, the way Kylie was playing, I would have given her the nudge over Gabby for sure.
Actually get more minutes for Kylie. Potentially. Yes. Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh. And you mentioned Sydney Falter, so strong on the glass, especially for I guess she's more of a natural 3. 8 points for Sydney with 5 boards and the 4 assists. She is a stat stuffer. And we did see Taylor McCabe come in, hit a couple of threes. She was 2 of 2 from deep. The team overall was really good from outside, 17 of 37. That was in spite of, I thought, some ill-advised threes from Caitlin Clark in that third quarter. And I know the offense was rolling in the first half. But the one thing I sent you a message about during the game, during the third, was, all right, maybe we're launching too many threes here. And Illinois had pushed that lead down to 11 or cut it down to 11. And they were on the verge. They had a couple chances, really good looks from 3 that would have cut it to 8. Both of those threes went in and out in fast break opportunities. That third quarter and their inability to get it to single digits seemed to kind of have the final say in the game.
Yeah, for sure. I think so much for me, it wasn't so much the launching the threes that was bothering me. It was the kind of threes we were launching. I didn't like, the Caitlin Clark guarded threes. Again, she was not shooting the ball well. And the reason why we played so well in the first half and our threes were hitting is because of the kinds of threes we were going. Everybody was touching the ball. It was inside, outside threes. How many times did we see the ball go from one corner to the next corner for wide open threes? It was the kind of threes that we were getting, should I say, in the first half that we were not doing in the third half. It got very stagnant. It was like we went back to that ball screen, re-screen thing, and everybody else is standing. I didn't like that. I prefer when Caitlin is coming off of screens. Then we can set a ball screen if she gets it. But starting our offense like that, everybody's stagnant. They don't know what to do. It's just like we're easily guarded, if that makes sense. So I felt like in the first half, Caitlin was just running the floor. Somebody else was bringing the ball up the court. And we were able to get in our offense like that. Obviously, when Caitlin got the rebound, she would push. We would get some easy transition layups. But I just prefer Caitlin to be off the ball to start than on the ball, because then it just becomes so ball heavy, if that makes sense.
I see a lot of comments here early in the chat, Kachine, about maybe Taylor McCabe deserving some of Gabby Marshall's minutes. Again, she went 2 of 2, and some of that, she ended up for the night. As it relates to minutes, Taylor McCabe played just under 7 minutes. But the way she seems to be shooting the ball now is kind of what we thought we were getting for the all-time best three-point shooter in Nebraska high school basketball history. So if again, would that translate to heavier minutes, especially in, more consequential times of the game? I don't know. But what do you say to the people that say we'd not only like to see Kylie more, would like to see Taylor more in place of some of these Gabby minutes?
Are we saying we're trying to put Gabby down to like teens? Because I think that's a little far, if you ask me. Again, I'm not a huge fan of how Gabby's playing, but if you're trying to give Taylor, you're already giving Kylie some of Gabby's minutes, right? So now you're down to 20 and she's what? 20 and 20? Let's just say that. If you split it, it's 20 and 20. So now who's Taylor taking minutes from? Gabby? Now Gabby's into the teens. I'm not sure that's in your best interest either. But yeah.
Well, I don't
literally.
I don't know that Kylie deserves again, we're kind of, I understand we're kind of splitting hairs here. I don't know that Kylie deserves 20 minutes. I mean, she played 16 tonight and played well, but this is one game.
Mm-hmm.
Gabby has had a reputation now for putting out stat lines like we saw tonight. 1 of 4, 0 for 3 from 3, 2 points, 3 assists, 1 turnover. So what I'm saying is, could you get 20 and 20 as it relates to Gabby is probably going to get you 20 given her experience and her, she's a starter. But then can you split the 20 between Feuerbach and McCabe, which they basically did. That's basically what they did tonight. And so maybe there's some nights where Taylor gets the 10, Kylie gets 10, or maybe Taylor gets 15 and Kylie gets 5. But maybe taking that load off of, Kylie only had, 3 or 4 minutes the other night against Indiana. And you and I both talked about that post game. So I don't know. I just, I know people are frustrated with Gabby. I get it. And when you win a game, you can have these conversations because it didn't cost them. The supporting cast in general really stepped up. It just seems to be a strong trend, and it is nice to see some players like Kylie, like Taylor, making some shots.
I agree 100%. And it helps in many different situations. And I know a lot of people are like, they think it's not black and white. You can't just bench your 5th year starting guard. Like, you can't do that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it messes up everything. It's not as simple as points. It's not as simple as production. If it were that simple, many people would be benched. But that's not the case. It messes up team chemistry. It messes up a lot of things. Kate, Gabby, and Caitlin have played how many minutes together? There's a camaraderie there. No matter how you flip it, there's a camaraderie there. I am not saying, however, that Gabby needs to be playing 30-plus minutes. Absolutely not. I think 20 is the top she should be playing right now. But you cannot just bench her. That does not work. Like, it doesn't work. It cannot happen. And I know people think of it in like black and white scenario and who's producing. It's not that simple. It throws your whole offense out of whack. So, with that being said, moving in a Sydney Falter, moving in Kylie, moving in Taylor McCabe in short minutes is good. But completely benching Gabby is the wrong approach. Trust me. You don't want to do that because there's going to be some issues. And you don't want to, especially not this late in the season. If we were going to make that change, it would have happened. It would have happened probably no later than January. Because then you would have given the team a chance to figure it out without her. But now you can't do that. It's too late in the season for that. But moving in Kylie, like you said, and figuring out those extra 20 minutes, maybe 25, depending on certain situations, I can take that. But completely benching Gabby, no. You cannot do that. Trust me, you can't do it. As much as I would like, in the sense of that, I just know it's happened before. I've been a part of coaching situations where it's happened before, and it has worked out terribly on many occasions.
And for the record, I'm certainly not an advocate for that, but I do think, I agree with you. 20 to 25 minutes right now, leadership. She's giving you hustle on defense as she does, but the offensive stats don't lie either. Diego, greetings. Yeah, greetings from happy you're here from all the way from Argentina. It's a nice thing about this show. We get Hawkeye fans all over the country, all over the world. Ryan said he got some Iowa Smokehouse took today's win Iowa Smokehouse and today's win took the bad taste out of his mouth from the men's game.
Okay, I was like, what?
Yeah, there was a little bit of a bad taste on Saturday. Let's go to our first Iowa Smokehouse caller, and ironically enough, it is Ryan. Ryan, welcome to the show.
Hey, Corey. Hi, Kachine. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, today was awesome. Total team effort. Very, very proud of all of them today. I feel that Feuerbach in particular really made a statement. She did exactly what she had to do to respond to 2 minutes in the previous game. And that's what people who have a fire lit under them do. And I it was not a real great shooting game from Caitlin, and everybody really stepped up the way we really have to have them step up, because this team can go very far if we can get a full team effort and it's not just a one person wrecking crew,
I agree. I mean, let's give Caitlin her credit, though. The way she commanded the floor today, as they like to call it, having a good floor game was amazing. I mean, she was not shooting well at all. I'll take that. But the way she commanded the floor, she got her teammates involved in the first half. That also fueled us in the first half. But I agree with you in the sense of if we can, the supporting cast can play like this and Caitlin is having a good shooting night, yeah, that changes our NCAA for me, 100%.
Absolutely.
And Lemansky, yes, absolutely agree with the super chat there. Hope Gabby's ankle is okay. I actually didn't think that was a foul. And I know Lisa was upset about it on the replay. It looked like she just kind of twisted her on her own. And it looked painful. I was afraid when she went down that it was something more serious, but looked like she was fine on the bench. She did not go back to the locker room prior to the end of the game, so that's the good news. Maggie says that she agrees with you, Kachine. And how about this comment from, I hope I'm pronouncing the name right, Lacey. Lacey says they need to make players earn it. Kylie earned it. She deserved the minutes. If players aren't contributing, they have a great bench. They need to rotate, find that someone who gets points. So appreciate Lacey's comment there. Brian, anything else?
I would have liked to see O'Grady get a little more involved when she was in there. I know when I thought of Kachine when Caitlin was in transition and threw a lightning dark pass to O'Grady being double teamed in transition. And I was just like, this is exactly what Kachine was talking about. Right. But outside of that, and maybe one other horrendous pass, I thought she really did, as you said, commanded the floor beautifully. Another triple double. I feel like she gets a feeling that her teammates are on, and she just really worries less about scoring. Last question I have: yes or no? She's 33 points away from passing Lynette Woodard. Does she do it at Minnesota? 33 points? Yes or no? To me, that's about like the perfect over-under.
And yes, nobody's bringing up that stat. I just find that ironic. No, everybody wants to.
It's not like she went. It's not like Lynette Woodard went to tiny D3 school. She went to Kansas. It really should count in all reality.
It should. I'm going to go with yes.
Yeah, I think she will.
Minnesota's gym is technically a shooting gym anyway, so.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for taking my call. And, oh, yeah, Corey, hold on. I didn't put my face on today, but.
Yes.
There it is. There it is.
Meat sticks. Right.
Oh, yeah, I came home Friday, and I had a big old box at my front door, and I ran down and hit it before my kids could get to it. So,
like a kid in the candy store, Ryan.
Oh, thank you got it, man. Take care.
Appreciate it, Ryan.
Love that.
How about Maggie? Iowa women's basketball love from Sweden. So we've got people.
Yay!
We got people from Sweden, and just appreciate all the support out there. And how about this? I never talk about analytics actually on this show, but I want to share a pretty cool. I thought it was a cool analytic. The history of this program, the history of this platform. Obviously football seems to rule the Iowa realm more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
But I know our last post-game show, we had the highest number of female viewers ever. 25% of our viewership was from females, which I thought was really cool. And, I don't know if that's anything, but I give a lot of that credit to you, Kachine. So
look at us. Good job, guys.
Lemansky, thank you for reminding everybody. Please hit that like button if you're here. It does help. And if you have not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button as well. But hit that thumbs up. Very simple if you're signed into YouTube to do that. And how about Julie? It says she's listening from France.
Oh, wow.
Are people just making this stuff up now, Kachine, or what's going on?
Are we international right now? What's going on?
We are absolutely international. Let's see. This is interesting. Diego says, I'm doing a video of all of Caitlin Clark's 3-pointers since her freshman year. Do you think it's better doing separate seasons or all together in one? This might be the most unique question we've had on here.
Well, she got over 400 and something threes, so that might be
taking a while.
That's a lot. That's a lot in one video.
I'd like to see all of them together, Diego. I want to see how long that takes, how long of a video that is. So make sure you share that when you get there. Gabe wants to know status on Gabby Marshall. Have not heard anything yet from Lisa Bluter. I'm assuming she's probably speaking right now, but
probably
try to get an update as soon as possible. And now these are rolling in. Kachine. Kurt says he's watching from British Columbia. So appreciate.
Oh, I've been there. Great place, beautiful place.
I have never been there, but I believe it's a beautiful place.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been in any of the places that were brought up here in the chat. Never been to Sweden. Have you been to Sweden or France or Argentina, Kachine? You probably were.
I've been to Sweden. I have been to France. I have not been to Sweden or Argentina. I have not been there.
Okay.
But I've been everywhere else so far.
I thought this was a fair comment from Don, wondering if Clark's legs are at all weary at this point of the season. She was 3 of 14 from 3 at one point. She finished the day 5 of, wait, that can't be right. Not 3 of 14. She's 5 of 14 official stats. So I don't know, that stat is a little inaccurate, Don, but 5 of 14 from 3. And she has been struggling from outside more than she has in the past, more than she typically does, Kachine. Do you see anything different about her shot, or is it just a matter of there's going to be nights where you don't shoot well and perhaps shot selection?
I don't think I've seen anything different about her shot. It's hard to say about the legs. It really is. Because it's not like she has, they went all the way to the national championship last year. So It's hard to say that. Is it a possibility? Yeah. Could she just be in a shooting slump? Yeah. So, which is hence why I believe that she's going to shoot the ball well in Minnesota, because if I know Caitlin, she's going to get her butt in the gym. She's going to feel her shot back, because one, being kind of off against Indiana, she probably was like, whatever, one game. 2 times, she's going to go and change something. So she'll be fine.
Were you surprised at all with the defensive struggles from Illinois in that first half? And we know what Iowa brings to the table, but you and I kind of both hyped up that defense heading into this game, especially with what they did against Indiana a week ago.
I was at the beginning, and then I actually started like really, really paying attention to what Iowa was actually doing. And then I realized that they were moving the ball better than they ever have. It was like they were finding the open players. It was, nobody was taking anything contested. It was like beautiful basketball, as Lisa Bluter likes to say. And when I was playing like that, I don't care how good of a defensive team you are, you have to give up something. So you're either going to have to give up Caitlin, or you're going to have to give up our supporting cast. And I'm pretty sure everybody is betting on giving up the supporting cast. We just happen to show up today. So when that's happening, you might as well call it George if you're the opposing coach.
Craig says he's calling from Titan, the moon of Saturn. You guys are now interplanetary. Yeah. So thank you, Craig, for doing that. I think they call that don't they call that? They don't call that intergalactic. Would that be that'd be a different galaxy? So Craig's in our galaxy. He's just not on our planet. So thank you for that information.
I didn't know they had Wi-Fi up there.
Spot says, how many more points to break Pete's record? Isn't it 50? They have it on the screen.
Somewhere close to that.
Yeah, they had it in the top.
She was at I think 77 before the game started or something like that.
What did you think when they put that little graphic up there, that tracker, just like they did for the women's basketball record? What did you think when they added that?
I didn't even pay attention to it, if I'm being honest with you. I don't even pay attention to it because I don't really care. I mean, I'll look at it after the game, but during the game, I could care less. We're too far away to care. Like, if it was like she's got 8 points, 10 points, all right, fine. It's probably doable, but she's not getting 70 points, 70-something points in the game. I'm not saying it's not doable. I'm just saying.
What's going on right now with Caitlin Clark and Iowa basketball is one of the more incredible things we've seen in the sport, but also one of the more polarizing, because the amount of hate you're going to derive from haters, from people on the outside.
Right.
But you've got these opportunists and the media and these networks. Like, I'm not trying to rip on Fox Sports 1, but I got even tired. At 3/4 through the game, I'm like, okay, can we do something? Can we talk about something not related to Caitlin Clark? Halftime, they go to the studio and it's a Caitlin Clark feature. Then it's something about Caitlin at the end of the third quarter. There are other players on this team we could feature. And I understand that's not what sells, but anyways, that would be
go.
That's my only thought on the whole situation, Kachine, is I can see why, if I was not part of this Iowa circle and doing this show and part of this fan base, I can see why people don't like Clark. I can absolutely see why. Now, I will say this. If I was on the outside not liking Caitlin Clark, here's what I wouldn't do. I wouldn't go on social media to rip and complain. To me, it's just ridiculous. People do that all the time. I would not do that.
You have sense, Corey. You have sense.
And a lot of people do not. A lot of people do not. But there are times where even I, as an Iowa fan, I'm like, all right, stop complaining, Caitlin. Just move on. The one play where she's complaining about where she threw it out of bounds off the Illinois player, and it clearly went back and bounced off her. Anyways, I can understand that to a point, why people get frustrated, and then all the attention, it's a natural reaction. So, okay. USS Jimmy Carter says, I believe Clark is sick. She just doesn't have the legs. He's had the crud for a month. If she is sick, hope she's better before we stomp Ohio State next Sunday. And yes, 51 is the exact number to the record. Appreciate that, Matt. And someone else was wanting to know how you're feeling, Kachine. We haven't gotten an official update on the air about you. You were under the weather on Thursday after the Indiana loss.
I still got the crud, clearly. Yeah, I'm still under the weather. I've pretty much been in bed all day until I had to get my life together for this here stream because I don't want to look crazy. But yeah, I think it's more of a sinus now than anything, just because of the pressure that I have in my head. So yeah, I'll probably give it another day or so and then go get one of those Z-Packs kind of things if it continues. But Sudafed it is for now.
All right. Couple things here before we get to our next caller. First of all, RTI Threads. I've got the Zach Lutmer shirt on. I think this is the first time I've donned that shirt on this show. So pretty cool for a young guy from Western Iowa who's figuring to mix into a talented DB room. Check out the Iowa baseball merchandise over at iowabaseballswarm.com. It's a newly launched website, www.iowabaseballswarm.com. And you can also check out the official apparel of Cooper DeJean and others over at rtithreads.com. So support our guys over in North Sioux City who are supporting the NIL cause for Iowa athletics over at RTI Threads. Okay, our caller just dropped off. The phone line is open, 515-635-1601, 515-635-1601. If you have a question for Kachine or myself, of course, Iowa... they have a stretch here prior to the Big Ten tournament where you've got Minnesota on the road. You've got Ohio State back at home on Peacock. Iowa, of course, losing that game on the road at Ohio State a couple of weeks ago. Minnesota is a very winnable game. Should be a game Iowa takes care of. Very similar to this one, but it is on the road. Do you like where this team stands right now on the 25th day of February? I know they were coming off of 2 or 3 losses, but do you like what you saw today as it relates to just bouncing back and overall tenor heading into the postseason?
I think this game in particular was important for our supporting cast because they need to see how good we can be if they're aggressive and not solely relying on Clark for points. Kate, she knew in her mind, I saw it, and Kylie, I'll give her that too. As soon as the ball was rotating, there was no question she was shooting it. There wasn't a like, oh, let me see. It was catch into rhythm shot. That's the confidence that we need to see continuing forward. And I think this was a pivotal game for that. Because like you said, we have Minnesota and then we have Ohio State to end the season and then into the Big Ten tournament. So I think this was a really good game for us because the last couple games, I don't think we didn't do a good job of that. And our supporting cast was just relying on the Caitlin Clark show. And that's not going to get us far.
All right, let's go back to our Iowa Smokehouse call-in line. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame with Kachine Alexander. Who's on the line? Yep, you're on the air.
I just feel like that McCabe should be playing more. I mean, I feel like she's been playing more than Gabby has for sure.
You're saying she should be playing more?
Yeah.
Whose minutes is she supposed to take?
Gabby's.
So how many minutes do you think Gabby should be playing?
20.
Roughly. Okay, so then that means Kylie and Taylor are splitting the other 20, roughly?
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I think, you know what? I'm going to say this. If Kylie's not playing great, yes, put Taylor in 100%. Right? Like if that extra 20 minutes needs to be fluid. And what I mean by that is if Kylie is playing like she was today, Kylie's probably getting like 15, 16 of those, right? Like I will take that. But if Kylie is not playing well, yes, put Taylor in. Let's see what she got. I do think that those need to be a lot fluid in that scenario. 100% agree with you. I asked questions because I wanted to understand what you meant exactly.
Thank you, Ben. Appreciate Ben calling in. You see the numbers here. Caitlin was 6 of 18 today, so 33% from the field. And why is this stat showing up? So apparently the ESPN box score, which I initially, just so everybody's aware of this, how this works, the NCAA official box score is released. Usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes after the game to actually get that. The university sends out a press release with that attached. So apparently, unless it's been corrected, it has been corrected over on ESPN as well. So this number is just incorrect there that I had up on the screen. Let me correct that. So she was 5 of 14. Excuse me, 5 of 14 from. Is that what I said? Is the NCAA box score is correct? Yeah, 5 of 14. I don't know where the 3 came from. 5 of 14 from 3. So her numbers aren't quite that bad. Over 33% from 3. And again, 15 rebounds to go along with 10 assists. And I wanted to ask you, Kachine, we've talked about rebounding in the past. We've talked about Caitlin's propensity to get on the glass, but you are the ultimate of ultimates as it relates to guards who crash the glass. Probably never been anybody as good as you that has played the guard position and rebounded effectively night in and night out. What is it about that? I know you've talked about, the opponent not knowing how to box out from the perimeter or not boxing out from the perimeter, but what is it about Caitlin, and what do you see in Caitlin that was similar with how you played to get on the glass?
You talking about tonight?
Well, she's getting triple doubles because she's often getting
This is true.
10 or more boards.
Well, I can tell you one thing. There's one huge key of why Caitlin got 15 rebounds today. What do you think it is, Corey?
I don't want to guess. What is it?
We played zone. She's at the bottom of the zone.
Okay.
She's just standing there.
Yeah.
If you're in man, you actually have to crash when you're a guard in order to get rebounds, because your guards are usually on the perimeter. But when you're playing zone, she's sitting on the block. So you ain't got no choice but to rebound, because you're down there with usually bigger people and you're already in the area anyways. So that is why Caitlin got 15 boards today. Now, I am not taking away the fact that she still got them, because at the end of the day, you could do nothing. You know what I mean? But there's a direct correlation of why she got 15 boards, because we were in zone pretty much the whole game. But as far as Caitlin's concerned, I think her getting rebounds is actually a good thing for her, because it forces her to have more feel of the game. When she's only getting the ball, on outlets or something of the sort, I feel like it takes away some of her feel of the game. So I do like when she has higher rebounding stats, because I feel like that just gives her a better feel of the game overall. Caitlin's a big guard. Like, she should be rebounding, if we're being honest. Yeah, I understand Caitlin's point guard, but she's a big guard. She should be rebounding. And I'm happy that today she got on the boards, because we needed that. I think the only other closest person was Hannah. So without her, we don't know what those boards would have looked like.
You were not a big guard.
No.
But you still rebounded.
Emma was like 5'8" on a good day.
Yeah. And so
on a good day.
For the record, Caitlin does average 7 boards on her career per game, which is impressive. She does have better size, but I've heard people, and most of this comes from the outside, that just wants to find a reason to hate. Some people would say, well, she's got the ball in her hands all the time, so she's going to score a lot of points, and yeah, she's going to find her way to 10 assists here and there. But the rebound, and I understand what you said about the zone today, but 7 boards for her career, she averaged 6 as a freshman, is impressive. And a lot of that, I'm assuming, without going back and watching her tape, do you see her crashing, or is she very opportunistic as it relates to long boards off long shots?
Well, her 7 rebounds is probably majority defensive, as far as rebounds are concerned. I don't see her a lot of the time getting offensive rebounds. She's not crashing. One, because she's shooting the ball from way out wherever, and the other time she's dishing for easy buckets. So I don't really see her. Majority of her 7 rebounds is from defensively, and you still do have to get in there and mix it up, huh?
6.7 to be exact. 6.7 of her 7.
All right. Well, we're gonna round it up 7. So get her getting those is she still has to crash regardless. She still got to mix it up,
right?
To get those rebounds, because if that was the case, other guards would do the same thing. So it's still a credit to her regardless, because she has so much on her shoulders as it is. A lot of people would not do that. For what? Let me save my energy. So that's a credit to her for sure.
I saw the comment here from we talked about Iowa baseball, and we encourage everybody to get on that Iowa baseball swarm gear over at RTI Threads. But yeah, boy, the Iowa baseball team had a rough weekend down in Jacksonville with 3 straight losses and really 3 good programs. Virginia, a top 15 program. Iowa held leads in both of those first 2 games. I did not catch the game. I was not following the game today against Wichita State, but a rough stretch for a baseball team that will probably not be ranked when the next round of rankings come out. So, but still a lot of potential in that bullpen if they can get it figured out, especially the relief pitchers. Okay. Let me see. We're not going to go a real long time today because I want to be considerate to Kachine. We kind of went longer than I wanted to the other night when you could barely talk. So we want to get Kachine out of here on a Sunday. You can get some rest in and enjoy the rest of her weekend. A couple of reminders before we get to a sponsor plug. Please subscribe. Please hit the like button. And please tell others about the show, whether it be by means of social media or word of mouth. Sure, if you're a Hawkeye fan, you've got friends who are Hawkeye fans. Certainly share the show as much as you can. Your support and your promotion is much appreciated. And check out the sponsor over at Iowa Smokehouse. They are selling great snacking products each and every day, and they've been writing this code for a long, long time to give Hawkeye fans the best deal out there. Use the code Hawkeyes for 15% off your order. Your selection of meat sticks, jerky, and the like. Visit iowasmokehouse.com and find out how tasting is believing. Get prepped for March Madness now. Put your orders in today. $50 orders will get absolutely free shipping. And as I mentioned, RTI Threads, the baseball merch over at iowabaseballswarm.com. Check out the apparel. You can also check out the official apparel for Aaron Graves, Carson Shire, Aiden Hall, and more over at rtithreads.com. Final score today, Iowa defeating Illinois, 101-85. And there were moments in that second half where it got a little tense, but for the most part, Iowa got what it wanted on the offensive end. And they move to a pretty consequential 2 games as it relates to the Big Ten, their Big Ten chances. Right now, if the season ended today, Iowa would be, I believe, the 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament. After they win today, they'd be the 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament. But they get Ohio State again. So Ohio State.
We go over Indiana?
According to what I'm seeing. Now, I don't know the tiebreakers. They split the series there. So what's the second tiebreaker down for seeding? Do you know, Kachine?
I don't remember. Sorry. I'm not going to lie to you.
It's a good question.
It'd be interesting, though. Something we both need to research before the next game, since it's going to come down to that. I'd be curious.
Yeah, both teams, Iowa and Indiana, both 13-3. They split the head-to-head this year. And then, of course, Ohio State. Ohio State may end up splitting the head-to-head with Iowa, but the problem is they have a 2-game lead on the Hawks. Ohio State, Iowa gets Minnesota prior to the Ohio State game. Ohio State hosts rival Michigan in a few days. So there's potential that Iowa could still win the conference.
Where is it? Is it at Michigan or at Ohio State?
The game is at Ohio State. But there's still a potential there. I think a lot of Iowa fans, and rightfully so, will be rooting for Michigan to upset the Buckeyes in Columbus here in a few days. So we'll see what happens. If Iowa has to
blue.
Go Maize and Blue. When's the last time we've said that?
Never.
Again, the final score today, 101-85. The Iowa women will be back in action. Again, they'll take on Minnesota. That game coming up on the 28th. Which, of course, is Wednesday. That will be a Peacock game, I believe the final Peacock game of the season. So hopefully, if you've already purchased your thing of Peacock, you haven't canceled it yet. Iowa will be in Kachine's home area. Did you grow up in Minneapolis proper, or were you suburban?
Nope, Minneapolis.
Okay. You like the barn?
Right. One more time?
Do you like the barn? The big bad barn?
For someone who hustles the way that I did, it was a very uncomfortable place to play because of the elevation of the floor.
So you're afraid of hurting yourself.
Yeah. So that was always like a thing I had to have in the back of my mind. But at the same time, I mean, it's not going to change how I play, but it's still something that you have to think about because you will go flying off of that floor 100%. So, but other than that, it is a shooter's gym. Every time we played there, back then our shooters were Jamie Prenny and Camille Walleen. They always had good games. So that's why I said what I said about Caitlin. I actually got my 1,000 points on that floor.
Did you? Nice.
I did.
Part of a hometown crowd.
It was fun. And the win. So that's it's great too.
Again, Iowa, Minnesota, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Time on Peacock. Kachine, thank you for being a trooper today. I know you're not feeling very good, so get some rest.
No problem.
Week ahead, and we'll try to catch you next time.
Absolutely. Have a good rest of your day, guys.
All right, folks. For Kachine Alexander, I'm Corey Brad here from the Hawkeye of the Storm. I will be with you soon right here from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Have a great Sunday.